Tonight, WSU helps the Earth reach a more sustainable future.
And find out the latest news coming from the Trump administration.
And yet, another earthquake takes its toll. Murrow News 8 starts now.
From Studio B on the campus of Washington State University, this is Pullman's only nightly newscast. This is Murrow News 8.
Good evening, I'm Jay Slaughter.
And I'm Irish Concepcion. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
Only 2 weeks away from one of the biggest Apple Cup games in Washington history, WSU got an extra advantage when the University of Washington star senior linebacker Zine Victor was suspended indefinitely from the team. Police arrested Victor for a DUI. He was booked into King County Jail on Sunday morning, but then released later that afternoon. WSU's government is taking steps to make sure the student body's voice is heard. Ian Smay attended last night's town hall meeting and spoke with student leaders.
Students of Washington State University, or ASWSU, held a town hall Tuesday night to give students a chance to voice their questions. The town hall covered topics such as transparency, student fees and finances, and ASWSU projects.
So this is the first town hall that we know of ever that ASWSU has done. So what we hope that we accomplish is that people know a little bit more about ASWSU, what it is, what branches are involved, what kind of projects we do, what work looks like on a day-to-day basis.
The town hall took place here in the Compton Union Building's junior ballroom. The building, which is in the center of campus, also holds ASWSU's offices one floor above, where they will take this feedback and break it down to decide how to best help students. The leaders wanted to ensure students that they were being heard and not ignored by those chosen to lead them.
Being consistent and going out to the student body and being as visible as possible is very important to Jordan and myself. We want to make sure that we're as connected to students as possible, that they can reach out to us if they ever have any concerns or ideas, and then ultimately that we can best serve them.
Overall, ASWSU executives feel that the town hall was a success, and there may be more opportunities for WSU students to interact directly with their leaders.
So in the future, we'll want to do some targeted ones. So we'll probably do a Greek town hall, a multicultural town hall, a residence hall, first year town hall. So ones that are focused towards specific student groups and specific issues. That way we can really center our presentation around those things that are important to those groups.
Although they are planning more town halls, Frost and Colt said people should not hesitate to reach out to them with suggestions or concerns. Ian Smay, Murrow News 8.
Two environmental research centers are losing funds as President Kirk Scholz continues to reduce university spending by 2.5% across the board. Directors from the Water Research Center and the Center for Environmental Research Education and Outreach said they will need to reduce faculty members and the amount of money spent for research in order to afford current administrative salaries. While some research centers on campus are losing funding, other projects are making strides with potential increases in greenhouse gas emissions, soil, and toxicity from chemical fertilizers and herbicides. Afiq Hisham shows us a team of students at WSU striving to organically unroot the issue.
Under the cover of a plastic hoop house, farm workers dig out weeds from rows of spinach as mild rain patters outside. With outdoor production at an end for the year, it is the Eggert Family Organic Farm's only growing crop at WSU during late fall and winter.
We're really conscious about the different crops that we grow and if we can help maintain that organic material in the soil from crop to crop, from rotation to rotation.
After 2 years, a WSU doctoral student is on the verge of creating a phone app to measure and potentially reduce any farmer's carbon footprint throughout Africa.
Most farmers don't even think of soil testing. So there is this practice of continual cultivation, loss of soil organic matter.
It will be an adaptation of WSU's Organic Farming Footprints, or OFOOT, a web-based tool with similar functions for Northwest farmers.
We used the OFOOT modeling tool a little bit to help us understand some of the decisions when we were building the new farm.
While sites like this one at WSU allow for research and soil analysis in the US, such tools are too sparse and expensive in other parts of the world. But the smartphone app will allow you to measure levels of organic material in your soil with just a snap of a photo.
There are a lot of environmental degradation that is going on that are already impacting people. We need to be able to feed people and at the same time without destroying our planet.
Afiq Hisham, Murrow News 8.
A new exhibition of portable homeless shelters at the WSU Volin College of Architecture showcases the way students can help homeless people. These portable shelters are easily equipped with mood lighting and protection to keep the homeless warm at night. Students hope the shelters will appear in Seattle and Spokane, as these cities have a large homeless population.
Looking at the homeless people in all of our big cities, in San Francisco, Spokane, New York, and just being in the cold weather, and just imagining yourself in their shoes and see, just as a human being.
Students are talking with the mayor of Spokane to try and make the shelters happen. These shelters will be on display in the Carpenter Hall Gallery until Friday. After the break, U-House Democrats are planning articles of impeachment for President Donald Trump.
And South Korea experienced their biggest earthquake since 2016.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
U.S. House Democrats introduced articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump. Representative Steve Cohen introduced 5 articles of impeachment that include undermining the independence of the federal judiciary and undermining the freedom of the press. However, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders made a statement saying the time spent for calling Trump's impeachment would be better spent focusing on tax relief for American families and businesses. A gunman that killed 4 people today killed his wife before going on the rampage. Police suspect Kevin Neal shot and killed his wife before hiding her body underneath the floorboards in his home. This all happened the night before the mass shootings took place. The discovery of his wife's body brings the death toll to 6, including the gunman. Earlier this month, in another mass shooting, former Airman Devin Kelly opened fire inside a Texas church. The Air Force failed to mention his conviction of domestic violence-related charges to the FBI, which would have kept him from purchasing the gun he used. General Mark Milley says this is not just an Air Force problem, but an all across the services. The U.S. Army Chief of Staff identified failures on part of the Army to report the same type of criminal activity. An estimated 10 to 20% of the Army's total cases go unreported.
Zimbabwe's military took control of the southern African nation overnight. Soldiers deployed tanks to the capital, taking control of the state-run broadcasting. Soldiers told employees from the media outlets to continue to work as usual and not to be afraid. They will receive protection. Military officials also confined Zimbabwe leader Robert Mugabe to his own home, as local journalists said much of this activity is an indication of Mugabe's strained relation with the army in recent months. A 5.4 magnitude earthquake struck the southeastern part of the Korean Peninsula today. 50 people suffered minor injuries, but that number is expected to rise. This is the largest earthquake in South Korea since 2016. The earthquake hit about 8 miles north of the city of Pohang. Buildings collapsed, roads cracked, and residents 100 miles away in Seoul said they could feel vibrations.
While people in Korea are recovering, people on the streets of Melbourne, Australia are waving rainbow flags and tossing confetti in celebration of a majority vote in favor of legalizing same-sex marriage. Over 60% of voters answered yes. The Australian Prime Minister says voters not only voted yes to gay marriage, but to fairness, commitment, and love.
Thanksgiving break is right around the corner and many are heading home to see family. Elizabeth Medina will let us know how the weather will be for that ride home.
And what the weather will look like for those of you staying in Pullman over the break.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Many students are getting close to heading home for Thanksgiving break. Elizabeth, will be driving conditions will be safe?
Well, Jay, for those students that are planning to drive home, they may be in luck. Overall, today was a really sunny day. Currently, it's at about 44 degrees. It's a little breezy, but there are still some clouds outside. Now, as we look at tomorrow, those clouds are still going to be with us as we expect to see some rain. At night, temperatures are going to drop just a little bit, but be prepared because we do expect to see some rain and snow. Now, overall, in the state of Washington, you'll see that Pullman seemed to be the only city that experienced some sunlight today. As we look over on the West Coast, you'll see the major cities received rain. Vancouver at the high of 56 degrees. As we move on to central Washington, you'll see Yakima and Wenatchee also received rain, with temperatures ranging about mid-40s. The rain just didn't stop there. As we move on to the Spokane area, and the temperatures ranged about within the mid-50s. Now, moving ahead later on in the week, for those that are planning to travel back home and are going back to Thanksgiving break, you'll see that there are no signs of bad conditions. Friday and Saturday, it'll be cloudy. And for those that are staying here in Pullman, you'll only be seeing a little bit of rain. That's it for weather. Back at the desk.
When we come back, players from UCLA were suspended from team activities following the shoplifting charges in China.
Stay tuned.
I'm one unlucky guy. The chance of being involved in a robbery is 1 in 757. The chances of being struck by lightning. 1 in 750,000.
Please fasten your seatbelts for unexpected turbulence.
The chances of being a victim in an airline crash? 1 in 29 million. Hey, could I get some peanuts? The chances of being involved in a car crash are far greater than lightning strikes and plane crashes. And if you are texting while driving, your risk of crash increases 23 times. Now, I may be an unlucky guy, but I don't have to be part of that statistic, and neither do you. Drive responsibly.
The UCLA basketball player accused of shoplifting in China made a public apology today. LiAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, and Jalen Hill were suspended indefinitely from the program following their return to the States. All three players thanked President Trump and the United States government for helping handle the situation. The punishment for shoplifting in China could have been 3 years in jail with a possible maximum of 10.
What would you do if a Lamborghini surprised you with a customized car? Well, earlier today, Lamborghini executives rolled into the Vatican towing a Huracan RWD Coupe. But this wasn't just any Huracan. This model was specially customized to replicate the colors of the Vatican flag. Turns out Pope Francis isn't planning on keeping the sports car for himself. Instead, the car will be auctioned off for charity.
Thank you for watching. Join us every weeknight at 7 and 10 p.m. for Pullman's only nightly newscast.
Have a great night, and don't forget to follow Murrow News 8 on Facebook and Twitter. Good night, Pullman.
Yeah, that was a really good show, you know.
Yeah,
I think,
well,